one, you can take a pause. Anyway, yeah, so welcome again to this session. So as I mentioned, today we're going to be handling Google Workspace administration and the security features under Google Workspace available for you and your team. Some available for the most basic plans and also to the highest of plans as well. But most of what we'll be covering today will be available for everyone. In case you find there is a feature, maybe in case you have access to the admin console and you find there is a feature you're not able to access, either you can reach out or maybe you can send us a chat and see, and we will advise why, or maybe why you're not able to see that, or maybe the feature has been released or not yet, right? So you still have the leeway to ask the questions around. All right. Yes, so I will start off by a slide deck. I will just introduce it and see, we'll go through it together with me explaining a few things. And then the second part of the session will be going through the admin console and seeing what can be configured and what is available everywhere. So ideally, I will not be going through the most basic. I might just brush through them, the most basic configurations that you might require for your admin console. Because we assume, as you being our customers and anybody who's new here, we've already done some of these things for you, and they might not be very beneficial for this session, but I might just brush through them. And in case I forget anything, my colleagues, please feel free to raise a hand to remind me of something that I forgot that is important for this call. All right, so without further ado, all right. Yes. So welcome to our Workspace, your Google Workspace Admin Console and Security Essentials for this session. And I hope my screen is visible to everyone. In case you can view, please give me a thumbs up again. Thank you, Dennis. All right. So ideally, we're going to be covering the Admin Console and Security Essentials under Google Workspace. For first things first, the admin console is basically, a tool or maybe an interface to help you manage your Google Workspace subscription. Might it be your user lifecycle management? Might it be whatever the users can access from their corporate accounts? Because we understand these corporate accounts are really sensitive in terms of what you should be able to access, and also protecting the company data as either the IT guy, the admin guy, or maybe even the owner of the organization. So the admin console and what the users that you have, or maybe the employees that you have internally require to have at least, minimum or maximum security to be able to access company data, and also not to be able to leak this data outside the organization. This is to ensure compliance at times. It is to ensure also compliance. It is to ensure that there is security for your data. It is to ensure that there is continuity as well. And also, as it's a business, so ideally you need to maintain that competitive edge in terms of intellectual property and also other things that actually feed into the business, and also the livelihoods of the people that you've employed, or maybe the people that you take care of, right? So the basic thing on the admin console is the user lifecycle management and the security as well. So the lifecycle management, what I mean is how you handle your incomings, your outgoings, and also any other configurations that you might require in between, right? For example, you have a new incomer who's coming, or maybe somebody has left. I will dare mention this. Maybe a disgruntled employee. These things happen. It's not rocket science, or maybe new in the employment or in the market. And you require to safeguard the data that you have. So you need to set up workflows to ensure that if a user is leaving, they are able to do a proper handover on whatever they were working on from their own drive, or maybe from whatever platform that they were in, to be able to have that continuity for the people who are going to maybe taking over after them. And also to ensure that if they were having to access certain critical applications or maybe platforms, you're able to serve that relationship to ensure that they don't like do anything malicious at that. So you need to have consistent workflows on how you onboard, offboard people, and also group management, what groups can access what groups cannot access what. And another thing that we like telling people is ensure that anything that is being worked on that is available for the organization is being worked on a shared drive. It is the best way actually to do it because you're paying for that. Please ensure that everything is moved from personal drives into shared drives, and these shared drives have the proper security features and workflow features to ensure that people are able to collaborate proactively and also ensure continuity of the organization nonetheless wherever you're working, right? The other thing I will mention is the security posture of the organization as a whole. The first things first, the basic security is we advise people not to share email addresses. So if you have your own personal email address, please ensure that you're not sharing it with anyone. Ensure or maybe enforce two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication in the organization, whereby it allows you to have a secondary buffer in case something malicious happens to your email. Say, I will give you an example. There was something that there is something that happened a few days ago, whereby there were some security credentials from some guys actually farmed some security credentials and then released the credentials into the dark web. And then, when Google crawls, when you're logging into your account, it normally does those credentials match with something that is in the web as a whole, it normally tends to lock you out of your account. This actually happened. I will not mention the institution or the companies that this happens to, but this is something that is an active threat ongoing currently in the ecosystem of the internet. Nonetheless, Google tries as much to block these things and crawl and ensure that you have the proper security posture for your organization and have proper passwords for your account. It is also prudent to have workflows internally that ensure that, nonetheless, Google's have put theirs, you also have yours that from the tools they've provided you. The other thing is audit and visibility. So ensure that you do regular audits or maybe put alert rules in case something malicious happens inside the organization. Say, for example, somebody tries to log into the account and then it fails like 5 times. So, you cannot forget your password like 5 times. And if you have, please reach out to the relevant guys to actually have it changed so that you can be able to log into your account. This gives you now that proactive edge whereby you're able to, get those alerts in case there is something malicious ongoing, in case there is a lot of spamming and spoofing inside the organization. You're also able to get those alerts from the alert center by configuring certain rules that in case this trigger is activated, this thing goes here, or maybe you get this alert so that you can actually investigate it further. The other thing is don't give, the rule of least privilege. Don't give every admin super admin access. Give whatever admin the least access they require to actually perform their job. So for example, we have things called delegated admins, whereby say you have the super admin account as the IT administrator and maybe the owner, and then you need other people below you to be able to do certain configurations, or maybe some certain tasks here and there under the admin console, but they need only to have access to particular security rights inside the admin console. So the first thing is actually do delegated admin access. Say, for example, point in case you want someone to be, creating the email addresses and maybe deleting them, doing the migrations, etc., but you don't want them to have entire view. You can give them delegated user access. You can give people delegated group access. You can give people delegated access to the Google Drive, so they're able to actually plan on how shared drives and drive folders actually planned inside the organization. Who can create shared drives, who cannot create shared drives, kind of a thing, right? So there are a couple of delegated access roles that you can give without actually giving the particular person entire, access to the admin console. So yeah, so these are the. By the way, we will share these slides after the call, so you can go through them. So some of the links and some of the steps on how to activate these things will be here. Nonetheless, we're going to go through them on the admin console side, right? All right. The other thing that is big currently on Google Workspace and in the technological world as a whole is AI, in short. So everybody is trying to integrate everything and anything with AI. If you have like say how do I put it? Like you have a cloth vending application somewhere, somebody is trying to integrate it with AI currently. If you have like a personal scheduler or maybe calendar that actually schedules, plans your meetings, plans your days, plans your budgets, somebody's actually integrating it with AI. So even this with the integration of AI under Google Workspace, as an administrator, you need to have an overview access on what your users inside the organization are actually using AI for. This can run from it's not the actual prompts definitely, but what AI connectors are there, where are they using generally AI in, and this gives you also a hawk's eye view on what you need to do to be able to enable your users. Say for example, most of Google Workspace has been really intertwined with Gemini AI as a product itself. Quite nicely, and you're able now to control your data inside and actually give it access to AI inside a single ecosystem whereby this data is not used to train other models. This prevents the use of shadow AI, say for example, use of external AI applications. I'm not saying that you should not use them, but I'm saying if you're in an industry whereby you need strict compliance from the governance, maybe from the ministries, for you to be able to run your particular industry, you might need these features also. This gives you also an overview of how, on what security controls you need to put into place to ensure that your data is not leaking out to other guys or maybe backend shadow AI kind of things, right? So there is a new feature coming up. We'll actually go over this. It's called the AI Control Center under the admin console. And this gives you the entirety overview of every AI of Gemini AI inside Google Workspace, of Gemini Enterprise inside Google Workspace as well, and also other AI features available under Google Workspace as a whole, right? I know there's a question that is going to come up. Just to preempt it, if you can be able to delete chats currently under either Gemini app itself or maybe the AI under the sidebar. Previously, for the on the Gemini app, it wasn't available, but currently I have good news. It is actually available, and I'll show you how to actually activate that. That end users can be able to delete their own AI chats from the Gemini app from Google Workspace itself. So I think that's a really cool new development because people are really pushing for that. All right, so we will go through how to enable the AI control and what AI has access to at the Google Workspace. So I'll show you, this is just an overview, and I'll show you how to actually access this and what to toggle on and what to toggle off. And then the other thing is we are going to go through is external collaboration to actually protect your data. This has been a really asked for, maybe sought for feature. And under Google Workspace, there are two ways. When collaborating with different industries, different companies, whether you have a contractor, whether you have somebody who's in for only, as a consultant, or maybe you need to collaborate on certain documents for a short period of time without you going the extra cost of procuring more services under Google Workspace. By this I mean licenses and access levels kind of a thing. So Google has introduced something new that enables you to collaborate with external people without you necessarily having to procure additional Google Workspace services. I think this is a really good cost saver for SMBs, and especially with the African economy how it is, especially in Kenya, man. I'm not complaining, but ideally. So this gives you an edge on how you can actually collaborate with people that actually don't naturally use Google Workspace as a collaboration platform. Whether you're using either a Yahoo email address and you need to access certain documents, whether you're using, say, an Outlook email address, say you're using a Zoho email address, and the other providers, even if it's cPanel, and you don't need to create that person under your Google Workspace environment, whereby you don't even require actually people to share files outside the organization, which is a really good feature to enable in case you don't want data filtration to be moving outside the organization. We'll also take care of that. So there are two ways of doing this. You can either have a visitor sharing or a workspace guest. Workspace guest is the newest feature. Visitor sharing has been there. And the difference, you might tend to confuse these two. The difference is for workspace guest, you actually invite people that don't have a native Google Workspace account to be able to collaborate inside your tenancy. And they have access to, it's a fully managed account, so to say. You can actually remove them, remove the access, etc., etc. And they have access to to Google Chats. They don't have access to Gmail, of course, because it's just a managed account. So they have access to Google Chat, so they can chat with the people inside your organization, but not other collaborators you have. You need to add them on a single chat so that they can all be able to chat or maybe communicate under one platform or maybe under one space. So they can gain access to chat. They can gain access to shared drive, sorry, and be able to contribute and edit things on shared drives whereby you've stored your documents, but they will not have access to personal drives, right? So they cannot create documents inside the organization that they can live with, but they have access to shared drive. Their download limits is also limited, so there are some things they cannot bulk download, so that gives you an additional security over it. But ideally now they can be able to access different documents that you've given them. The other thing is they're able to gain access to calendar as well, so they can join into meetings, but they have to knock into it. But ideally, they have access to that. These are actually free. So you get, for every paid license, you get 5 guest accounts. So nonetheless, you have how many contractors? In case you have 10 licenses, you get at least 50 guest accounts that you can actually invite into. The other external sharing is visitor sharing, whereby you allow people to share documents to guys, and then they get an ephemeral PIN certified or verified access. Whereby, say for example, you're sharing a document, you're sharing a document, say to an Outlook account. They don't have a Gmail account. So once you do that, they get that ephemeral access in their mailbox, and then they can log into the document, and then you can kick them out when you don't want them to access that. But ideally, this only works to particular documents, not to that extended access into the entire organization. So Workspace Gets is a really good thing, and it's something that is really nice to try out. Sorry, I think I'll go through the slides and then I'll come back to answer questions. Dan, if you can answer the questions for me, I'll appreciate as well. All right, so with the guest management, what you get is administrative guardrails, whereby you can actually restrict whatever is being shared to guests to a particular organizational unit without you having to share under the entire organization. And then you can mandate which shared drives can be accessed by the guests, and also you keep ownership of whatever is created under the organization. So even if a person creates a drive, they can only create, a document, they can only create it under shared drive. If that shared drive belongs to the organization, not to the guest who has created it, right? And then with this, you can actually, with the lifecycle management, as I mentioned, you can actually regularly review the access logs and then revoke permissions of inactive collaborators when they've left. So once the person is not, collaborating with you anymore, keep them out the door. Kila mtu arudi kwao, ama nani ana kwao, in short, in Swahili, for those who've heard that saying. And then another thing is, it is good actually for audit and compliance, because in case you run, or maybe you're operating in an environment whereby audit is a really, really important thing, and they need also to audit your technological stack. So ideally, you become, when you have visitors, you can actually see what visitors have accessed and what they've been doing over the previous time that you need to do the audit, right? So I think it's a really, really nice feature. Right. Yes. So this is also what I was talking about, actually. So you can empower users to change to Gemini chat history, to be able to delete their chat history, and then people can delete whatever that is not required, and then keep an history of what is required. But one thing to note about this feature is it is applicable under Google Vault compliance rules. What is Google Vault? I know I have mentioned this before, but just to run over it. So for Google Vault, it is a e-discovery and retention tool, not a backup and DR tool. So the difference is backup and DR is just backup your files and emails into a different platform, just to be able to mitigate any risk of the service failing or maybe doing something malicious, and also for and you can actually restore in case you've backed up and somewhere else, right? But for e-discovery and retention, you only be able to do searches on whatever information that you've locked under the Vault retention rules. The retention rules can run however you like them to. You can either have an indefinite retention rule, or maybe 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 7 year, retention rules. And then after those years, in case something was deleted automatically from, from whatever people are working with, and then it automatically gets purged after 7 years, unless it was retained. But active data inside the organization is not purged, but anything that was deleted within those 7 years, and then that lifeline comes to close, the data is automatically purged. And these retention rules, I'll show you how they run. They run from different applications under Google Workspace. Some plans automatically have Vault, especially for EDU plans. They automatically have Vault, and plus Business Plus and Standard and Enterprise plans have automatic Vault. But now for the slower ones, you will have to purchase these licenses for that. But it's a really good feature. I'll show you how that all works. So moving forward now, Gemini chat will be, unless you're deleting it, it will be subject to Google Vault retention rules inside your organization or your tenancy. All right. So this is Vault support versus Gemini. So default rules, custom rules, and then litigation holds. We'll go through this as well once we get down to Vault. And then the other thing for security is managing domains and trusted senders. We've had this request a couple of times whereby you're not, for example, as an institution, you've set certain rules whereby for all your drive files, shared drive files, you can only send them, you cannot share them outside the organization. But it comes a point whereby you might need to actually share some of these files, or maybe you're working with government entities and you might need to share some of these files with people outside the organization. So how do you do this? You have, of course, you've said that you cannot be able to, share these files outside, but you might need to share some files outside without, having everyone being able to share. Not as we said, the rule of least privilege. So you can actually set this up whereby you can allow you can allow a list of domains to be able to share some certain files outside, or maybe you can override this over an OU and allow some people to share files outside, maybe the C-suite only. And then everyone else under other OUs only has the rules of sharing everything internally in the organization, right? So those are some of the best practices as well. And then the enterprise endpoint management, whereby in case you own a higher plan, you can be able to enable this for your organization. So for example, you have devices that you need to procure for the organization, or maybe it's a BYOD policy whereby everybody comes with their device, and then they can be able to access the workup under their device. So in case of losing the device, or maybe whitelisting, and you can be able to set certain rules. For the advanced, you can be able to remote wipe. For the basic ones, you're just able to set certain rules, like a strong password, and that's it. But now, in case you're on the higher plan, you're able to actually set these rules up for yourself, right? And then the other thing is Marketplace app and API access. So to prevent shadow IT, you can be able to actually blacklist some of the applications that people access, and then to prevent actually people from accessing certain applications that you've not allowed inside the organization to be accessed by anybody or whoever that has access to. So ideally, this will be the last part of our settings, and then from there, we'll have questions, Q&A questions, and as we are answering them as we go by into the training. So I think with that, that's the first part. So I think I'll now go to the other part. even look at the questions. I hope Dan was a good. Okay. For just once, I think one. I think the rest have been asked, but have been answered. But just to answer one, if a collaborator from outside can be given admin rights, the answer is no. It is because they are all managed accounts. The admin rights are only available to users under the domain. So if you use under the tenancy, you can get admin rights, but any collaborator outside the organization cannot get admin rights. The only rights they get is only access to files in drive folders. So ideally, the admin rights are only reserved to people inside the tenancy. Okay. Right, I think the guys can handle that. So let's go to the next part. So the next part is the admin console. And for people who have interacted with it, this will be fairly easy for everyone. For people who have interacted with it, that is. I might understand if you haven't, so don't worry about that. So let me share something else. Okay. Right, so let's start to verify. Okay, nice. So don't worry, this is just a sample admin console that we use for training for internal and also external and also testing out things before once they are released. So there's something I don't know if people actually know how to set up. So there is some for any new feature coming under Google Workspace, it gets released in two phases. So you have either the rapid release and then the scheduled release for every organization's ideally. So whatever feature that is being released by Google, you get these two options to actually get access to them. The difference is for Rapid, it gives you the ability not even the ability, once the feature is released, actually it gets applied to your system as long as the feature is available in your region. I will not lie to you, the African region, sometimes we can kind of get late on getting these features. I don't know. I would want to meet like the C-suite guys and ask them why they do this to us, especially some of these good features, but ideally well, it is what it is. But once they are available in the region, the EMEA region, because that's where we are classified under the Google ecosystem as customers and also as resellers. So there are two ways to actually set this up. So to be able to get access, the rapid release is better suited for the IT team, or maybe if you have an IT team or maybe technical guys that you want to test these features, and maybe you do take people through them. Always have them be on the rapid release phase. So just it can just come. Sorry. And search rapid release here. So you'll get automatic updates. I want this. So you get your articles on here on what to get under every release that you get from the rapid release side. So you can always set up your OU between these two. The scheduled release gives you the stable versions of the features. So it is good to actually, in case you want that, you can actually set that up to be able to get the same features on when they get released as well. So that's just by the way. But ideally, this is the interface that you get for the Google Workspace admin console. Just a quick rundown of everything. This is the home. You always get short direct links to each and every settings that you get on this page. So in case you want to go to the user management, of course you can find that here. This is the user management, the billing, but mostly because you're under reseller, so you won't need this much. And then in case you want to get the most out of Google, you can always see what new things they have here. product updates, you always have, they always release like notes on what they are releasing each and every time. So you can always come here and view all the product updates available, and we'll take you to, the Google updates, blogs, and everything that they have released as recent as possible. We also do share this in our newsletters. So in case you don't get the chance to access this part, we'll also share the same releases under the newsletter that we share with our customers. And then the domains, and then you get your alerts in case you have something at issue, security alerts, or maybe you've set up an alert rule that gives you a certain alert once a trigger has been pushed. You always get your alerts here. This one is for Chrome Enterprise and then Chrome OS devices, the applications, OUs, building resources, the admin roles I was talking about, especially the delegated access admin roles, and then the rules you've set out, and then in case you need support directly from Google. From that, of course, the next thing is the dashboard. This gives you any this actually automatically takes you to any alerts that have been sent in the last couple of or maybe the last couple of say minutes and have not been actioned upon. So in case you have any insights, alerts, they will always give you on this dashboard. This is the user interface whereby you have users, your guests. So here now, this is where the guests are coming in. And then you have your groups, target audience, building and resources as usual, whereby you manage all your resources. Say you have your boardrooms, you can actually set up the calendar for people to book them in case you need people to book certain rooms when they're available. In case it's not available, automatically get rejections. This is the best part actually to actually set that up. And once a room is booked, you cannot be able to override that. So this is good, especially also to actually set that some certain rooms need to be booked when you have certain numbers. The best place to actually set this up as well. I will not be going through this much, but in case you need some help on setting up your resources, whether it's a company car, whether it's a company kitchen, say for example, for those companies who are progressive, you can even have lactating rooms for the female co-workers in case they have newborns that they need to take care of. You can also have those rooms being booked on the same actually a building and resources, right? And the directory syncs and everything. And then now the Chrome browser and the Chrome OS are managed from this part here. So this normally takes up the management of the Chrome browsers under the Chrome Enterprise, and also the Chrome device management, whereby they're managed from this, not the Chrome devices actually on devices, sorry, but the Chrome Enterprise and Chrome browser is managed under this part. For the devices, you get an overview of your mobile endpoints, the networks, and then the Chrome devices as well. So as I was saying, so you can set up your Chrome in case you're running any Chrome devices, that is Chromebooks, Chrome kiosks, in case you're running any Chrome tabs under the organization. This is the place to actually set the rules for the devices. And then all the applications under Google Workspace are found here. Under Google Workspace, you get your applications, marketplace apps, you also get here. And all the other settings and all the applications you're available to get under Google Workspace. And then the Gemini AI platform now, as I was talking about, you can actually get it from here. We'll get it to that soon. And then you have your security center, Kawaida, authentication, access and data control, security center. And then in case of any data that you're managing under the organization can only be found here, compliance, data import and exports, this works for migrations and all, right? And then the reporting. So in case you need to do any audits or maybe see whatever has been happening under your Google Workspace account, they will always be found under under reporting. So either app reports, whether there has been any downtime, uptime, etc., etc. User reports in case you want to investigate people who have failed a couple of logins attempts and you want to investigate why. This is the best places. Any device logins that have been logged into your organization, you can always find them from here, whether it's mobile, printers, etc., etc. And then in case you do want to do an audit on everything under your Google Workspace tenancy, this is the best to do it. This allows, this includes all the admin roles, all the admin log events. So any action an admin does in the Google Workspace tenancy is actually logged into the admin access logs. or admin log events, and any file delivery or non-delivery can always be found under email log events. And the email log events is only available for only the super admins. Any delegated admin will not be able to get the email log events in case you want to investigate email deliveries, if it was delivered, if it was sent out. That's the best place. And all there's the log events you need. It also includes Vault log events and what has been retained and what people have set up under Vault, right? And then the billing, that you have your basic account settings here, seller management, admin roles, account settings, and then the rules I was talking about. Sorry, I think I've clicked on that. I think I want to click on it. So for any rule setup, whether it's a data loss prevention, I will always have them here to be able to set up your compliance rules for the organization. And then you have your storage here to be able to have an overview of how the storage is ongoing in the organization. You can see we even have a breakdown on who is spending what and who's doing what, and what has been done on shared drives as well. This is also available under the super admin role. So not every admin or maybe delegated administrator will have access to this. All right. So yeah, I think that's how it is. So let's start off, I think, with now the first part that we talked about. So I'll go back to the first slide. So the first thing, user management. Just to run through the security part. So for the user management, I like going the lifecycle. You can always delete and do your deletions from there. But now for the security, the best actually things I like to have people do is go to authentication, then to factor verification. This is still the MFA thing. For everyone, we'll have to have this enforced for a couple of reasons. So once you've enforced 2FA, it prompts each and everyone in the organization to ensure that they have 2FA turned on for themselves. You cannot set up 2FA for an external user. The user has to set it up for themselves by going to settings, security, and then set up 2FA. And even when this is enforced for the entire organization, each and every person gets, depending on the date that you actually set this up, everyone gets a prompt to be able to set up 2FA after a certain period of time. Say, for example, you've set from, say, normally put this on a 14-day window to allow people that leeway and to be able to set it up. And also this after 14 days, normally Google resets your access level. Say, for example, your access, how do I call it? Your access, there's a certain name. I'm forgetting it. So your access is supposed to be before you're allowed, or maybe Google prompts you to re-authenticate again. Your normally access runs for around 14 days. So before, so once you set this up, it normally runs until that person is asked to re-authenticate, and then they can actually set up 2FA. And it's a really really simple process. So please have this enforced for your organization. Set up a date from when, and then a new user, you can give them a 1-month period to be able to actually set up their 2FA for their account. So users can avoid repeated 2FA devices. So this just allow people, say, for example, you're logged in on your say desktop, you can actually avoid this for a couple of times. So as long as your session period, when your session period ends, then you can, now that resets and you can be able to re-authenticate your device again. And then the methods, we always allow, the best thing is actually to allow any of these methods as long as they are available under your Google Workspace tenancies. The best one is, because mostly on the Kenyan, many people use passkeys or security keys. So you might not set it up for everyone, but for verification codes via text, phone call might not work that much, but text will be the best one. So you can get your Google prompt via text. And then once you suspend it, so because this is because we don't have a grace period for this, so it is not allowed. So and then you actually set that up, right? That is under 2FA. The other thing is is the password management. Normally people have this tendency, and sometimes I used to have it myself, I won't lie, but people have this tendency of repeating passwords, or maybe using passwords across multiple platforms. The best thing is actually to enforce a password policy whereby at least the minimum strength of the password should be 8 characters long, with of course special characters, either 1 capital letter, special characters, and also 8 minimum length being 8 letters, or maybe 8 characters, sorry. So you have special caps letters, a number, and 8 characters, right? You can have this as long as possible. As is around, I think, 10 characters, sorry, or around there. And then this is the trend, and then you can either allow people to reuse the password or not. The best is actually to allow people not to reuse the password, because once you've set up an expiration date, which is really good, which allows people to reset the passwords after a certain period of time. Say, for example, after say 60 days, say no, 60 days is 2 months. So say, for example, after 90 days, that is 3 months, the system actually prompts you to reset up a new password, and you'll not be able to log in into your account until you've set up a new password. So it is always good to have an expiry. So for this account, we have not put an expiry because it's a dev account, and you normally use this frequently for people, so we don't require this to have. But for our normal account under Pawa IT, there is an expiry date of 90 days, and this can go up to 1 year in case you feel like 90 days is too much. You can actually have people to reset their password after every year. So in case you've been in the organization for 1 year, you have to reset your password for that, right? So this is why I actually set that up. So these are the basic things first you need to do in case for your security posture under the Google Workspace tenancy to be able to manage it, right? The next thing that I actually went through is now the external collaboration. I really want to go through this before we go to now, how do I put it, the AI control center. So as I was speaking about the external collaboration types whereby you can use for your Google Workspace, I mentioned guest and visitor sharing. Visitor sharing, as I said, is the normal, share the particular file with a person who doesn't have a Google Workspace tenancy, and then they will be able to access that file via an ephemeral, code, which actually, has a timeline for you to use it. Once that code passes, you're not able to use that code to access that document. But now, the exciting thing is the new now guest mode. So if you go to your OU before you even go to this to this guest side, if you go to your organizational units, you'll find that under each the primary organizational unit, you have a guest workspace organizational unit. This is automatically created for you by the system, so you don't have to create this by default by yourself. So as long as the guest access of people to invite people outside the organization is available, you will be able to have this organizational unit created for you. So any person actually added as a guest will always be based under this, and you can always set up rules now dedicated to this. So this particular sharing does not in any way disrupt the normal settings for your organization. So however you'd set up your organizational units before still remains the same, and then you get now an additional that is under the parent that you can actually set certain rules for that organizational unit. So I did a test here just to be able to show you guys how this works. So for guests, how this works. So for example, you want to start sharing under a certain drive, or maybe you want to chat with a person under Google Chat itself. So I did add myself here. This is a Yahoo email address. So Yahoo doesn't have of course Gmail present. So you can see even the domain and the name is actually named differently to ensure that you are able to differentiate between whoever is internal and whoever is external. So I'll just delete this for the sake of the demo purposes. So once we delete, we give it a few seconds, and then you have, sorry, still invited. I had not even accepted the invite. So let's give it another refresh. There we go. We don't have any guest currently. So we can either have a bulk, you can either download guests in case you want to. So you'll get, with currently applied features, you can download all the guests in case you want to and see and do an audit on what these guys, on who these guys are, in case you have a really, really large list. As I said, one user, you get 50 guests for your organization. So for example, if you have 20 users and you've had 20 multiplied by 50, that's quite a number. And for you to actually go through them on this platform might be a little bit challenging. So you can always download the users. But now the easiest ways to actually set up the sharing is, first of all, you need to set it up under the admin console. So you just need to go to, sorry, just a minute, juggling through two screens here. So for the settings, you just need to go to applications, then go to Google Workspace, and then, oh, sorry, it's supposed to be in security, not even there. Yeah, it's supposed to be in security, and then access and data control, and then you'll have external sharing here. So for the external sharing, you're able to set this up and allow users to send guest invitations to people outside your organization. So once a person has sent the guest invitation, it gives them the option, the leeway. Once they accept the invitation, it gives them the leeway of actually now accessing the documents, Google Chats, and everything under that, under your internal Google Workspace tenancy. Don't worry about this part here for the Enterprise Plus. I think this tenancy is based on this, but it is available for even business starter accounts. So you can still set this up even if you're in a business standard starter plan. So you can either allow people and people not be able to actually have these guests, or maybe share people with outside, and then you can also allow it. So once it's allowed here, now people are able to invite guests. So I just want to do a simple, just want to do a simple invite to show you how a person can invite people into, say, for example, documents, folders, drives, etc., etc. So from here, I want to do a share, right? And then, as I had shared before, Yahoo is not on. In case on Outlook, you don't have a Google Workspace tenancy. For Gmail accounts, it might be different because that's Gmail, but it won't necessarily work for here. So let's do the same, or maybe anybody on this chat can actually, share with me a non-native Gmail account, say, for example, Yahoo or Outlook, whatever. If you have any, I'll just do mine so that you can have. So I have one under native.sean at Yahoo already. It's populated because I already done it. So I can actually give this person as I can give this person viewer comment or Reddit rights, and I can also add an expiration date to this person that, hey, you only have access to this document for a certain period of time. So I just want to give them up to Tuesday next week. So once Tuesday reaches, it automatically kicks him out of this particular file. Yes, this particular file, right? So this now gives you some extra, navigation principles under that to give people expiration timelines for that. And then we can set the time, say, for example, at noon. Say 12 p.m. and then click on done. Then you can send the invite. Problem is so you see, have your notification there that Sean is an external to Pawa IT who owns the item. This organization encourages blah 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 while sharing externally. So it gives you that security prompt to be able to verify that whatever you're doing is actually the right thing. Then you create, then you do a share, then you can also send an email, and then it will actually send this particular file to an external person. So I've already received a prompt on my phone because I have the Yahoo email not on the laptop, but we can go back to the admin and go back to the directory and see on guests. And then I can refresh this again. It normally takes a few seconds or maybe minutes to propagate entirely. So once this propagates, you'll always see a person has accepted the share to be able to be as accepted, or maybe there is an invite that has been sent for them to be a guest into the whatever particular file they've been given to. And then once they've accepted it, it will also populate here. So I think this takes a little bit of time, but as you saw, there was a particular thing that was sent there. Accept, just a minute. So this same thing can also be applied to Gmail accounts that are outside the organization. Say, for example, you want to invite, say, a Gmail account to a Google chat. Previously, you wouldn't be able to. So you have your chats here. and you've been doing a couple of things. So let's see, this is also another invite I did just for testing purposes. So I just want to do another one. So it has been deleted. So just want to do another one. So I want to invite people to even a space. Let me try and do a certain space here, and then try and invite someone to manage members. Then I want to add. Then I want to choose, say, for example, an external Gmail account. Say, let me guess one. This one is external. This one has been added here. So let me see. Let me do the same one. Actually, I did. So we can invite the external user and then click them on to add. So add anyway. Then sorry, there was something here that happened. Let's see again. Yeah, there we go. So Sean.meet was added into the menu, and you can see it's an external user, whereby you see this is external, and they're able to actually read and respond to actually previous messages under the space. And this also works for chat as well. So in case I wanted just to do another meeting.shown, I can still add this as an external. So this works for different platforms. Say, as I said, in case the person is using Yahoo's or Outlook, still works under the same. So you just need to add, then you just start the chat, and then you'll be able to have that. So you see this one has been just showed me I have been invited somewhere. So let me try and see if I can see that invite. So sorry, let me do something quick on the phone. So I've seen the invite. Accept it. So once you get this invite, it sends you a verification code into the email address that you currently own. So it's not like a free-flowing thing that things just happen without like the person verifying that they need to have access to that. So ideally, yes. So people get they get invitations that are from. Once they get an invitation, they actually they receive a code to actually verify that they own that email. And then once they verify, they're able now to join this whatever. So I've gotten my code. Just let me verify the code before we continue. And then the code is that 328 521. Next. So just a minute. Give it time. Then got it. So I have access now to the document. I have access to this. So I just want to go back and look for the chat and try and just do a simple text here. It's taking longer than I expected, but sorry guys. Just do a prompt. Let's see. Okay, you need to access the chat from chat.google.com. That's another thing actually to note. So while you're accessing the chat, you need to choose the email that you're accessing it with once you receive the invite, and then you go to chat.google.com. Okay, it's taking a lot of time. I'll do this later for the sake, but ideally it generally works. So you can see if I go to the project with the marker, you can see, for example, you can see if you go to sharing, you'll see the guys who are able to edit here. And if I try, say, for example, I can edit the expiration in case I want to, but in case I want to do a couple of edits here, because I know I've opened that one at least, been able to open it. Just that I'm working on the mobile phone. That's why it's taking longer than usual. But sorry about that. Just a minute. Just want to do a couple of edits so that you can see that it. Yahoo, Yahoo, Yahoo. Seems the demo gods want to leave me today. Okay. Open the document and then to edit it. Yeah, can't edit it on the browser. You need to edit it on the phone. Sorry about that, guys. But ideally, I've gotten access to the document, but now you need to edit the document on the phone. So once you receive the guest access to the document, you can only edit it on the not on the phone, on a computer or maybe a desktop. So the phone doesn't allow that kind of access. So this is for security purposes to prevent people from taking screenshots and all that. But ideally, yeah, so that's how guest profiles work. And if you go now to the admin console, you can see all the invited guests, and then you have your actions, either suspend the user, email the user, add to groups, or delete the users. If you add to groups, if you add them to that group, whatever that group has access to, you're able to they will be able to actually get access to whatever that group has access to initially. For Faith, in case you want, I like this question. So in case you want to do like a bulk update of the guest ones, you can actually invite them first of all, and then, or maybe add them to a certain groups, especially for external people. Once you have, say, for example, how do I put it? Once you have the list of them, you can add them to a group that is external, and then add them here. For currently, there is no way to add guests as a bulk, as you can see. So you can only download them, but there is no way to bulk upload. But I think that's a feature that will be coming up really, really soon, especially for this. So you can only add them, but if you're adding them to a particular file, or maybe say a file, either a particular file or a document, it is possible to do that with the sharing here. So we just need like to copy the list, and then once you paste it here, it can automatically populate the list for you, and you can go selecting out the list that is not valid or invalid. And then once you're done, you select how you want to add them. Say, for example, this one is already added. So let me just choose another file that we can do an example, maybe a folder of some sorts. So a drive, or maybe share drives here. The best is actually share drive. So we'll do try and do Backstreet Boys. Then I want to share this with people. Just share a particular folder instead. Then say, for example, I want to share it now with this guy. I want to share it with see who else is here before I share with that one. So yeah, let's share it with this one. Share it with maybe another. This one. So for this now, you can be able to share to particular. You can actually copy a couple of guys and then have them on this box, and then you can actually send now the individual invites to each and everyone. But that's a good question. All right. So yeah. So I think I'll go to the next one. So as I mentioned, this actually applies now to a particular OU. So you can actually set up, say, for example, you want to restrict, sharing outside. Say, I want to do like a simple restriction to the group OU. So I just want to do like a drive restriction. So I just come to applications, go to drive. So anything that they can access, where is the drive? Where is the drive? Drive and docs. Then I want to go to sharing settings. Then I can actually select the particular organizational unit that I want to apply this to. So I've selected Workspace Tech guests, and then so I want them sharing, let's say, Pawa IT solutions. So I want to put this off. So yes, so you're not able to actually share with anyone outside the Pawa IT solution. So they cannot be able to share that, and you can actually have to override this to prevent people from either distributing content outside. This one is automatically deselected for people to be able to do that. And then once you do that, now you can actually override that no one should be able to receive these files. And then once you do that, you have the override button here to be able to allow that settings to be applied to this guest-only unit. So they can be able to interact with the documents inside the organization, but nothing outside the organization. And then from there, now you can be able to do audits on who, for example, the particular people. So for example, if I want to do, say, if I want to, come to guest here and then do a quick audit, just come and copy the person. And then, say, for example, come here and do, say, let me just want to do what let me even do a Gmail messages log event. Just something simple. So I'll just come here and then I can just create a condition in case I want to. In case I don't want to, I just want to create a condition attribute is, I just want to do is, or maybe all content. Sorry. No, this won't work. Add a filter, and then want to probably do a sender who is, then want to include that person, and then we'll now choose the guest that we have. This is a simple log that just did it in a hurry to just show it. And then you click on apply, then you can click on search. And then you'll have, your audit to see what people have done or what he has done or what he has not done. So ideally, you can also do your audit and investigation in case you're suspecting something, or maybe you want to do an audit on what the person is doing, right? And then deleting, I've showed you how to delete, and then that's that. So that's for guest management. All right, I see we're almost running out of time. I will try to do the rest as quickly as possible. The next thing that I wanted actually to go through now is the Gemini AI Admin Center, so AI Control Center, sorry. So for the Gemini, as I said, currently we have like how many Gemini models here? So we have, this is the control center, so you have everything local here for any AI customization that you have. So currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Gemini applications or maybe access centers. So you have the Gemini app, which is available under either your mobile phone or you can access it via the browser. The Gemini Enterprise is a enterprise-grade consumer Gemini, which is only which is available under the GCP side, but also manageable under Google Workspace. I don't know what the agents that you've created are able to access under Google Workspace. So this is a topic for another day, but it's an agentic level AI that integrates all your data sources with different connectors, and you can actually use it to create agents that connect between different data. Say, for example, from Outlook, SharePoints, for example, another one is buckets in the GCP side, Google Workspace, and also the normal Gemini advanced application whereby that crawls the web. So these agents can either be local to interact with the data that is actually true to you that you've stored, and built over time to be able to set certain actions, produce certain reports, etc., for you without with the click of a button, or maybe actually automated in such a way that every month, with whatever data that you've connected in between the different connectors that you have, will be able to produce a certain report or maybe certain insights whatsoever that you're looking for business purposes, for internal purposes, and for external purposes. Now, it connects to a myriad of connectors, as I said, Outlook, SharePoints, whether it's Monday.com, etc. So ideally, it's a really, really nice tool that can connect between the different platforms that you're using, whether external or internal, so whether that party or the single party that you're currently using under Google Workspace. And then you have Gemini for Workspace, which is includes Gemini flows that gives you the flows on the top right, automation flows on the top right side of your Gmail window. Whether it's the side panel on Google Docs, whether it's a sheet AI side panel as well. So any AI that is consumed under Google Workspace as a whole, and then you have Notebook LM, which is your research tool. So for the AI Control Center, so this is it. Before we even go to the AI Control Center, I just want to go to show Gemini and Google Workspace. For Gemini and Google Workspace, you can be able to actually set feature access. So you can be able to set who has access to what, or maybe if Gemini has access to whatever application you want. So in case you want to turn off Workspace Studio, as I said, the flow side, you can actually turn this off, and you can actually turn off access to all these applications that Gemini has access to, right? That is a Gemini and a Google Workspace. And then intelligent sources, calendar, drive and docs, Gmail, and Google Chat. And then Alpha Gemini features, conversation history. This is where now you are able to delete all either the conversation history that is under the side panel. So sometimes it's ephemeral, whereby it deletes after every 24 hours. So once you open a document and then you prompt it with Gemini, and then you come back after, say, for example, 10, 15, 30 minutes, that chat is still there, but maybe you come back the following day, that chat is no longer there. So you have to start the chat afresh. So that's the ephemeral mode. And you can have also the manual deletion currently, whereby in case you're not comfortable with whatever chat you're typing into the Gemini application, you can actually turn this off and turn this on, and people can actually delete that immediately. So that works for the same as the Gemini app here, whereby for the conversation history here, yes, correct here, you're currently now able to turn on for Gemini to either automatically purge the conversation history. So normally the retention period is around, the basic retention period is around 36 months, but ideally you can bring this down to 3 months. So after 3 months, it just normally purges every conversation that the entire organization has had with Gemini application. So the old chats keeps on purging them, but it's not really good, because ideally, in case I was having a really important chat, I would rather to have it, like for 3 years, and then in case I don't want it, because 3 years is a long time, I can come back now and delete it, or maybe it can purge it for me. And then for the conversation management, this is where you're able to now, end users are able to delete the conversations. So you just need to come to Gemini app and then go to conversation management, and then allow users to delete conversations. If you toggle this off, the users will not be able to delete the conversation, and it will proceed as intended. As I said, these conversations are in retention and set up by retention rules at a Google Vault. And what I meant by Google Vault is this. So while you're deleting your conversations, say, for example, the administrator, which is you, has set up certain retention policies for the organization. You need to have Vault admin license for you to be able to access this currently. So you already have your retention, which is the rules that you've set for the different applications that you have. So for example, you have your default rules. So this goes to, say, for example, if I choose this, you can see the duration is indefinite. So, and you can also set a retention period, which is governed by days. So you can set 365. If it's 2 years, set that by double. If it's 7 years, multiply it by that by 7, right? So the retention is governed by days, and you can set it up here, or you can have it as indefinite. The best thing is actually, in case you have a lot of storage space, the best one is have it as indefinite, and you can actually set different rules or retention rules dependent on whatever applications that you have. Say Google Drive, Google, so now Gmail, you have your one for the groups, you have one for Google Meet recordings, and you have one for Google Sites. So in case anybody does anything on this, they're able, that data gets retained for that period of time. And you can see now Gemini has been included. So this also includes all chats available in the Gemini app. So in case you need to do investigations later on, this will be really, really pivotal for you, that you can actually go and look through whatever chats the person was going through that probably prompted some of these actions under any investigations that you are undergoing. Same as this, you can also set it. The normal retention period is indefinite, but you can actually set a certain, a retention period for yourself or for the organization, and have it in days as well. So yeah, and then from here now you can have your custom rules for the different applications. So you can also create custom rules for every service that is available. Currently, you can't have. Sorry, it's here. So you have your custom rule for Gemini, and then where you want to the scope you want to have. Say, for example, set. I want to have it on this organizational unit. Say, let's do the guest ones is not here. But let's do even total Pawa IT solutions, continue. And then this is a custom rule only for a certain people in certain OUs, or maybe certain people in particular only. And then you can set the period, and then you can have that. Nonetheless, the data is indefinite for this organizational unit. I want it to be for this period of time. Then you can create your custom rules. From that, and then you can have your settings in case you want to. The service settings you need to. So for meet rules, you can, for meet rules, can either be retained by either Drive rule, because all the meeting recordings are stored in Drive, or the meeting rule. And then sites as well, they either the Drive rule, because these ones are set to either, because these files can be either stored either in Drive, or they can be stored under Google Sites, because that's a major storage platform for Google Workspace. And then you can also set retention rules for either people under either collaborators for certain items, or certain Drive owners or file owners. So ideally, these are just custom settings that you do in case you want to have that extra granular feel of control under the retention rules under Google Vault. So yeah, and then once you do your retention, you'll have your retentions here that you've set. And then in case you want now to export this for people, maybe for the legal team to have an investigative view, or maybe you want to give a person delegated access to Google Vault to be able to investigate. So you just create a matter and then extend that matter to the person who's actually investigating that, whatever matters are there. I think matters is a legal term, but that is normally translates to whatever case that we have in point. So every matter represents a case that somebody is investigating on. And then you have your reports. This is reports under the vault for people that you've given access to. So you have your reports on people, when people have exported matters, or maybe people who have done whatever to, or maybe done any configurations under Google Vault. So that's a simple overview of a Google Vault. And then now we go to the AI Control Center. That gives you now the overview of everything. So from the center, you can actually see and control AI access for all the applications that you have. So you can see who has accessed AI, or what if AI has accessed any of this application for the last couple of days. And you can actually manage this and either revoke or do user access, allow users to access Gemini app, or revoke this access from different people. So this gives you the access levels and what has been done on every application under Google Workspace, and you can actually export this to have these reports to have a better view under Google Sheets, right? And then from there, you can also view the AI security for AI products. Say Gemini app, what it has access. Say, for example, let's go to Gemini app and see what we see from there. So you get the apps that Gemini app has access to from the different people. See, Classroom app is turned off, Workspace app is turned on. Other Google apps, you can actually be able to turn them on in case you want to from here. So allow to other Google Workspace access. See, for example, YouTube Maps, etc, and you can allow access, or maybe you can deny people AI access into these applications as well. All right. And then for the Gemini Enterprise, as I was saying, some of these features will be coming soon. They haven't been fully released, so you can either service status, workspace data access, and then data access for the agents and access agents. You'll have a workspace intelligence here that finds data across apps to give Gemini a deeper the context of whatever data that is in your organization. So this is where you'll see the data sources that Workspace is connecting to. And if you click on it, you can see the calendar, Drive and Docs, Gmail, and also Google Chat. So in case you want to turn this off as well, this is the place to actually do that. And you can do this in a granular way, either by groups, by users as well. In case you want to turn it for a particular user, you can do it for groups pay as well. So in case you want to turn it off for a particular group, say sales, the sales seem to have access to any of the Gemini features that is possible currently. And then also you can do this via organizational limits. In case you don't want the whole organization to have AI, Gemini AI under Gmail, you can also turn this off, dependent on how you want this to be. And then for the AI Studio, as I mentioned, for those who didn't get it, the AI Studio is this part here. So this is the studio that allows you to have automations inside your organization. So if you click on it, you can have still have access on who, or maybe set up access on who has access to AI Studio and who can set up automations. This can allow you to even set up automations for internal organization processes and then share them out to now internal users. They can be able to turn them off, on and off for their own internal, internal settings as well. So that's the Google Workspace Studio, or Flows in short. That's two names. I don't know why they named it into. So yes, and then you can manage your fundamental security here. So you won't really be able to have that a lot of say granular access for this, because there is already some preset internal Google how do I put it, preset policies that people need to have whatever this data can be used to. Say, for example, this data cannot be used to train the AI models. This data is only confidential to people under Pawa IT, etc. And also, because how Gemini and the security features under Google Workspace are set, say you're prompting on something that you don't currently have access to, you'll not be able to access that either document, either file, either folder. If you don't have initial access to granted to you, nonetheless you prompt it and even apply that link to that particular file or whatever reason it is, they not be able to get access to. This is just to protect, like internal documentation and also access levels. Say, for example, the HR files are confidential to HR guys. For the finance files are confidential to the finance guys. That kind of a management risk. So you can see the proper labels applied to each, and then you can be able to create yours in case you want to create new labels. This will, I think, be a thing for another day. But now this is how the granular access level comes into, right? So if you have the time, please go through this, and some of this might be available only on the higher plans. For example, only the plan that has context-aware access can have this, environment and to manage it. In case yours don't have, this will not be available at that. All right, so I think this is the AI Control Center in a short overview. So I hope I'm not rushing too much. See, time is almost over. So ideally, so this is the AI Center. Please, if you're able to just go through it and be able to, try and interact with it a little bit and see what is available for your plan, and also are you as an administrator. The next thing I want to do is I want to take you through the block standards, because I know that was something we were to go through. Say the use case for this was when times you have to share with things with people outside the organization, and you need to allow certain people, or maybe at least certain people, to be able to access the files, or maybe kind of a thing, right? So for this, it's really a granular thing, and it's really a quite easy thing to do from the Google Workspace side. Sorry, let me just water. Right, I think we can continue. But let me just respond to a certain word here. Okay. All right. So for the trusted, for now we're going back to the trusted senders and allow list. So to be able to be able to set up people that while sharing things with outside people, you can be able to have access to this. So you just need to go to the first things first. So while we have that, so the best place to actually set this up is on the Gmail side, right? So on the application, you just need to go to apps and then Google Workspace, of course, and then you'll choose the Gmail part. And then you look for, once you look for this, you go to spam and phishing. And then from there, you're able to have an email allow list. So you can either choose, you can enter the IP address or your email allow list in case you want to. But you can configure it using an email address. So instead of just IP addresses. So the best thing is actually to do a wide domain-wide delegation instead of doing like a particular email address, but you can also do it using a particular email address. So just do yahoo.com, some sort. Sorry. This one, let me see. Just I think this one needs to share a public IP address for it. So let me just use another domain name. Let's say sean.com and use a public already an existing domain. We'll try and search for a cheeky domain here for us to use. Yes, I think got one. Let's see. Still refuses. Okay, let me try and see if they changed something here. Oh, not there. So this one only allows IP addresses. I'll come back to this. I think there's some setting I missed on the IP allow list, so I'll just come back to this. So the next thing was the block senders list. So on the same page, we have you can scroll down to spam and phishing part, and then just on to phishing protection. These ones are always there. So from the block senders list, you can always add a list of people that you need to block sending. So for example, you've had people whereby normally get a lot of phishing from, or maybe certain domains that you normally get a lot of phishing from. So we just want to block. I just want to do like, for example, a simple description of who we are blocking. So I blocked spam senders. And then we want to use, either we can create a list or use an existing list that is already there. So we just want to create a new list so that we can see how that goes. So we just want to do a couple of a few configurations. So once you click on the create a new list, it takes you to block senders list, and then I just want to do a blocked senders 3. Then add addresses. Then I just want to add domains, or in case I just want to do a bulk update, I can actually do a bulk update. So you can just do the domains while they are comma separated. So I can add another one like ashon.com, etc. So I need to add a valid email address. So let's say Sean@audit.com, then Sean@sean.com, etc. And then okay, this one is not a domain name. Just use the one that is valid. So this one is valid, so you can just click on save. So, to verify this, I have some time.
Sean, maybe I can just add the IP where you're being requested to add the IP that works for, let's say you're sending emails from a server within your organization. You'd whitelist the domain there to allow it to send emails as yourself, the same way we do for SMTP relay. But then for the allowed senders, you can do one or two things. You can create a list and then decide how you want to approach the list. So you can either use that list to block people from sending emails or receiving emails internally, or you can use the same emails to that list to allow emails that were maybe probably they have DNS issues. You know, their DKIM, DMARC records are not up to standard. So you can use that to bypass that. So in case you have a vendor that you're communicating with and you know they have an issue with their domain, but you want to whitelist them, then you can use that list to whitelist them such that the emails they're not being flagged as spam. But the other bit that you are working from that works for allowing servers to send emails through your Google Workspace account or using your Google Workspace account.
Right, thank you for that, Dan. So yeah, so you can do those two processes to be able to whitelist your domains. Thank you so much for that, Dan. I think I missed some steps somewhere. Yeah, so that's how you block the senders. So ideally, we have a couple of block senders here, but we've done some for ourselves. So, oh yes, so here now, this is the approved senders. So ideally for spam. And then for the block senders, you have them here. And then the spam ones, you have them here. That is for especially people who have DNS problems. And then this now allows you to approve for the IP address or maybe servers to be able to send emails on your behalf. So thank you so much for that, Dan. Yeah, so the next, so if there are any questions, I think Dan will answer on the chat box there. So just need to move to the next thing. So the first one was so the block senders, and then the approved senders, and then the other thing was yes, I think that was that for the managing domains and trusted senders. And then for the next thing was enterprise mobile device management. Basically, what this means is how you allow your devices to access your device, your information under, whether on what platform that you're using, whether you're using bring your own device, or maybe you've purchased devices under your own under the organization. This also works hand in hand with something, in case it's something you're looking for, Android Enterprise, whereby it allows you to deploy these services into a device through zero-touch enrollment, then deploy them to wherever without having the IT person having to touch the devices to allow these configurations to be able to go into the devices. But I won't be going through that today. So for the device management, we just need, the best part is actually going to devices, whereby we have, need to go to devices here, and then as devices, we need to click on mobile and endpoints, and then click on settings. Then you have the universal settings here. So for the universal settings, you can have a couple of things that you can set up. And also while setting this up, it will actually tell you what is available on what devices. So for example, for the endpoint configuration, you'll see, sorry, not there. Just to go there. I have to go back. So you'll have your general settings. So for example, you'll have your general settings in terms of, so for example, the security. For the data access, you'll have turn on device management and password controls. This allows you to set up the device management. So if it's device management, you can have a custom roles. So the basic one is just apply a simple password controls and work accounts outside the device. So this just applies for mostly for business starter platforms, and also for any business starter and the lower plans, and also if you don't have the enterprise access. So this gives you the ability to set strong passwords for a particular bring your device. So what it does is, at least you need to set up a strong password, which is at least normally 6 letters or maybe 6 words. It depends with how you set it up. And then you can be able to remote wipe the device. So once maybe the device is not remote wipe, wipe the corporate account from the device. So you'll not be able to remote wipe the device as an entire device, but you'll be able to remove the work account, because while for most of through device management and a Google Workspace, normally it separates the work account with your personal account, and you can set this up whereby once you install the application, it separates. So you have your access to your work account, and then you have access also to your personal account. And this mostly works for Android devices, which has an Android device manager that allows you to do this. For the advanced ones, you're able to deploy advanced setups, whereby, for example, you're not able to take screenshots of, or maybe if you take a screenshot, it's actually stored. You can actually allow people to take screenshots or not take screenshots. And once that is turned on, the screenshot are stored only on the work account separation side. So this does not, the screenshots or maybe the images that you take under the work profile are only stored on the work profile side, and any information taken by the personal profile side is only stored on the personal profile. And also sharing of things in between the personal profile and the corporate profile is prohibited, whereby you cannot share, say, for example, a file from the work profile into now the personal profile, maybe for other dissemination purposes. But this is blocked whatsoever. So this only works under the advanced, whereby you can set this for also Android, iOS, and Google Sync currently. So normally these are set as basic, and then iOS doesn't have the advanced, as I said, but Android has. And then Google Sync also has advanced, and then you can also set up and
I suspect Sean is having some trouble with his network. I think we just give him a few minutes, but I also suspect he was wrapping up the call as well.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I think my network just dropped a little bit. Yes, so yes, I'm back. So you have your basic settings here. This is where I was. I hope my screen. Let me.
You're not sharing a screenshot.
Just a minute. Okay, here we go. All right. Idea. So this is where we are. So this is one was the basic and some of the advanced features that you get, and then you of course you get the security part whereby it gives you what you can do and what you can do with the devices as long as they're applied, especially on the enterprise. You'll always get like highlights on what these features apply to. Say, for example, this one only applies to Enterprise Plus licenses, or maybe you have Android Enterprise and Cloud ID Premium. You can be able to set up to notify you that you have inactive devices that you currently own or you currently manage under your organization, and then send those notification links. Set up whether you can turn on the camera or not for that particular device that is managed for the organization. This is good for devices that require that actually the organization owns. And also you can set up device approvals. So for example, one is logging in their corporate email into a device that they've bought, or maybe they've lost their device. You need to approve that device before that work account actually syncs with the work account syncs into the device. So this is where the device approvals comes in, the encryptions as well, and you can actually have alerts for compromised devices. But this, as I said, works for the enterprise side of things, not on the basic side of things. So by and large, this is what you get for device management under Google Workspace as a security feature, having been on the enterprise on the basic. So any additional features from this might need to have access maybe to an external or a third-party application to be able to access them. So the other thing I had mentioned I wanted to go through was marketplace and app controls, which was our last thing that we were to cover today. So for that, you can access them from this part here. So for that part, you just need to go to security, course, app access and data control. Security, access and data control. Is this is access? Let me just go back to yeah. So security, and then app access. API controls and data access. So app access and data control, you can have the access here. So once you click on this, and then now you go now to API controls. So this gives you the settings to allow which Google services and which applications you can have API access to. So for example, I can manage Google services. Click on this, it will give you management for all the restricted Google services that can have API access. So for apps, and you can configure, you can set up the apps that are pending review, so you can have alerts for them here, and then 47 accessed apps. So for example, you want to change access to a certain, say for example, you don't want Classroom to have API access, you can change this from here. and then have it as restricted. Only trusted apps can access this device. So this changes that access for all either API calls from external parties or maybe configurations that need to have access to the Google Classroom application. Need to have that authorization from the internal organization. So by and large, this now applies for all the applications that are under Google Workspace. You can enlarge this to up to Google Meet, Google Sign-in, Chat, etc. And also Google Workspace Administrator, which gives this access to the entire Google Workspace tenancy. But I would want you to, provide caution while accessing this via the Google Workspace admin as well. So, and you need to actually know which scopes are able to are being accessed by the API. So ideally, so you know what data is being consumed and disseminated via these API accesses. By and large, I think this is all. I think the last part of the training I've really rushed through, but I think we just got out of time. But so yeah, those I think are the main things I wanted to show you guys. Yes, Daniel.
Yeah, just to add also, I know you mentioned Google Workspace, but also within the same window when you're doing API and access control, so you do two things. So you can either manage Google native applications, so your Gemini, your Google Drive, your calendar, but then there's another one for third-party applications. So let's say you want to block users from AI not to be able to access your Google Workspace data, for instance. You can manage that within that, or maybe you want to block users so that they don't sign in using their Google Workspace account to that party application. You also do manage it from that side. So I think based on what your organization is trying to accomplish, you can come and sort of configure them here. But the biggest risk, I would say, is on the third-party application, because that's where you have a lot of your data being exfiliated outside the organization, and you probably you're not aware about that. But yeah.
All right, thank you for that. So I think I'm done. Sorry I've taken so much of your time. I think we've spent almost 2 hours now. And I would only plan for 1.5. So in case you have any questions, I think we can close the training there. And in case you have any follow-up questions, you can always share them to either, or maybe any discussions that you might want to have with us. You can always share it to either cases at Pawa IT for any requests or maybe concerns that you might have. Will be prompt to respond to that, or in case you want something on the, also you can copy CS as Pawa IT at Pawa IT, that is the customer success side. So and you get answers for any queries or maybe services that you might require, and the Google Workspace side from our team. Also, as I said, we're going to be sharing certificates after this, so please be on the lookout. We normally use the Academy email, which is the one we use for the trainings and communications under Pawa IT. So this is the email that we share this with you. And also, just a reminder, we'll be having the Cloud Mastery training next week on the 16th of July. So in case you're free and would like to attend, please reach out to us. We'll organize that will be a physical training, by the way, and we'll organize for the guys who are interested to be able to undergo the training or maybe interact with DCP as a platform and the services that we offer differently, and you'll have your own environment whereby you manipulate data and be able to experience the beauties of DCP in the different platforms that we have internally at Pawa IT. I'll also share, for the guys who have attended, I'll also share a breakdown on what will happen during that day. So in case you're interested, please be sure to register and purpose to attend the Cloud Mastery next month. But for that, I will open the door for questions. I think I'll stop the recording. Then in case you have any questions, you can either shoot it by raising up your hand, or maybe you can have it on the chat box, and then we'll answer them, and then we can move forward and close the training.